Hi, my name is Tim. And in this video, I'm going to guide you through the proper procedure for troubleshooting a faulty indoor fan relay on the heat pump simulator. Now, this is the indoor fan relay here over on the right within the control panel. And it takes a 24-volt signal from the thermostat's fan switch and closes two sets of contacts that powers the indoor fan motor. Now, to begin with, we need to go to the thermostat and make sure it's calling for heat. So we're going to click on the selector switch, which will turn it to the heat position. This will also turn up the temperature setting. Click OK on the procedure guide and be sure to refer to that after each step you take. Next, we want to take a brief inventory of which electrical loads are operational. We're going to remove the cover from the indoor air handler, and we can see that our indoor fan motor is not running here. These arrows should be spinning to indicate that the fan motor is actually operational. So after you've removed the cover, we're going to click OK, and then we're going to say no, the indoor fan motor is not running. Now we're going to go to the outdoor unit, and we're going to see if the compressor and outdoor fan are running. Now it appears that they both are operational, but you can remove the cover to get a better view. You could also put a clamp on ammeter on the common wire of the compressor motor if you can't hear it running. So once we've removed the cover, we're clicking OK. And yeah, the outdoor fan's running. We can see at the top here that it's actually, we've got these spinning blue arrows indicating that the outdoor fan is running. So we're going to click yes. And our compressor is also running. So we're going to click yes again. Now, our next step is to remove the panel cover, which we've already done. So we can click OK. And we're going to need to take some voltage readings here to start with. But before we do that, let's take a look at the wiring diagram so we can narrow our focus or make an inventory of possible causes of this malfunction. Again, we know the indoor fan motor is not running. If we take a look at the line voltage diagram first, it's possible that we have a bad indoor fan motor, possibly an open winding, either a start or run winding. It's also possible that a run capacitor for that indoor fan motor is faulty. But it's also fairly likely that these indoor fan relay contacts are not closing due to the coil being open within the relay, or possibly the thermostat fan switch is not sending power to the relay coil. Let's take a look at the low voltage diagram and I'll show you what I mean. We can see that the fan relay coil is right here. It's got a green wire going to it. Again, it's possible that relay coil is open, which would mean you would have no electromagnetism to close the contacts, or it's possible that the thermostat fan switch is not sending 24 volts to that relay coil from the G terminal. So we've got four possibilities here: the indoor fan motor, the run capacitor, the fan relay, or the thermostat. So I'm going to store the wiring diagrams away, and we're going to start to make some voltage checks here. Now, to start with, probably the easiest thing to do is verify if we have 24 volts going to the fan relay coil from the thermostat. So place each of your meter leads in the glowing orange hotspots at the green connection and the blue connection here. And we do have 24 volts, so this eliminates the thermostat as the cause of our malfunction. It's working just fine. And we do have 24 volts to the coil. So we're going to click yes on the procedure guide. Our next step is to check to ensure that we have 240 volts coming to the relay, or the line side of the relay. Now we know we have power to the unit because the transformer is powered, but we could have a loose connection in a wire nut or a terminal connection possibly. So let's zoom in a little bit, and we'll place each of our leads at the line voltage connections at the indoor fan relay. And when we do this, we can see that we do in fact have 240 volts coming to the relay. So we don't have any loose connections or anything like that. Now our next step after clicking yes on the procedure guide is to see if the contacts within the relay are closing. And we can do this by measuring the load side voltage. In other words, is 240 volts leaving the relay to the motor? And it should be. If the coil's energized, those contacts should be pulled in. So we're going to place our meter leads at the two glowing orange hotspots at the top of the relay here, or the load side of the relay. And when we do this, our meter is measuring 0 volts, which verifies that these contacts are not closing. Now, with power to the coil, they should be closing. Now, it's possible you have bad contacts, but it's more likely that the coil is open. And since this is a disposable relay, it's not repairable, we know the relay needs to be replaced. If you want to check resistance to the coil, you always could do that. That's fine, but I don't feel that's necessary here. So once we've determined we do not measure 240 volts at the load side of the indoor fan relay, we're going to click no on the procedure guide, and we need to make sure there's no loose connections first before we replace it. you could just have a simple loose connection somewhere. So I'm going to zoom in a little bit and just rotate around and make sure that all connections are secure. And in fact, they do appear to be secure. So there's no loose wires. We're going to click no. And our next step is to replace the indoor fan relay. Now make sure you shut the power off before you do this. You don't want to work on live electrical circuits. Once you've done that, click on the relay, click replace on the menu, and that solves our problem. Before leaving the job though, observe one full cycle of operation on the unit to make sure all loads are operating properly. I would also pull the indoor air filter just as a little added value for the customer and replace it if it's dirty. Last but not least, we want to go up to the residence and make sure that heat is being received through the registers. And we can see, as evidenced by the red graphic here, that we are delivering heat to the space. So we've solved our problem here. Now, if you're confused on any of these steps that we just took, simply click this top left icon and you can review each step in the procedure. Good luck on all your future service calls, and I'll see you back here soon. Thanks for watching. You can try our on-demand VR-enabled learning for HVAC by signing up for a free trial. Go to interplaylearning.com to get started.